Hi everyone, welcome back to the Sports Breakdown once again. So today we are doing another video, and this time we're going to do on the upcoming series against Zimbabwe, and also we'll be doing updating also on the SLC 2020 League as well. So we brought us alongside Madushka Balasuriya, who is the Sri Lankan correspondent for ESPNCricinfo, and as you know, he also gives like the commentary updates. If you go through any Sri Lanka matches, most of the Sri Lankan matches, he does the commentary feedbacks and the updates and all. So thank you so much, Madushka, once again for accepting my invite and coming along to
Thanks
the
for having
show.
me.
It's not been easy, but yeah, thank you so much once again. I just want to know, I just want to have a brief introduction of like yourself, like how did you get into like ESPN Cricinfo? Because like it's not a easy, like it's not easy to get into a like a platform like that, because it's like one of the most streamed sorry like we, if it goes to cricket updates, we either go to either Crickbuzz or we go to Cricinfo. Always use Cricinfo more than Crickbuzz. So being the Sri Lankan correspondent as well, it's not easy, and writing articles or whatever. So how did you get into ESPN Cricinfo, and what do you sort of do like mainly like with ESPN Cricinfo? Like if you can give us a like a brief like a sneak peek if possible. Yeah. Am I stuck or is it stuck? Sorry.
Hey, man. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So
The
yeah.
last bit of that question just went away because I think my internet dropped, but I got the gist of it. So, in terms of how I
Yeah.
got the job, so I was in media for a couple of years, and
Okay.
I
All
had
right.
been doing a lot of. I was working with a news station, and then I switched to newspaper, print media, and I
Yeah.
was covering a variety of business writing, sports writing, environmental, food reviews, you name it. Like they just sort of plug and play, just put me wherever. But obviously, sports writing, I read a lot of sports writing. I think one of my over the years, like I would log on to the old soccernet.com. Is this on?
Oh yeah. Sorry. Yeah. I think something to do with my connection. Yeah. I think I'm okay. Can you hear me right now,
Yeah,
Manushka?
yeah, it's all good.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. All good. All good. I think it's
Yeah,
with
so
my connection as well. Yeah. Yeah. Continue. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Continue.
okay.
Yeah.
That's all good. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I've always been interested in sports. I've been a sports buff all my life. I used to play cricket in school and stuff like that. But so when I would write about cricket, I would essentially my entire goal would be to write things that I would like to read. Uh, Pretty
Yeah.
much. So if you go to a press conference, I'd ask questions. I'd ask things that I was curious about, but also try to give as much context as possible. And that I was doing that for about a year and a bit. And so you would know Andrew Fidel Fernando. So
Yeah.
Fidel
Yeah. I know. Yeah.
got in touch with me, just and he explained that there were some openings. There was an opening at Cricinfo, but they were eyeing a few people. So if I was interested, it's something I could just send in some of my work, and they would look and let me know. And a couple of months later, a couple of months went by, and they were like, "Yeah, we'd like to have you on board." And I think
Mm.
what I would suggest to anyone that wants to do this sort of work is you kind of need to go out and find the angles, find the stories, and just give, because cricket writing, there's a lot to be done, a lot of different ways
Yeah.
to do it.
Yeah.
um,
Mm.
if you read Cricinfo, you'll see that there are guys who specialize in analytics. They'll look at the data, they'll break it down, and they'll find patterns. Then there are other
Mm.
guys who, uh, the way they see the game, they'll watch a play and they'll be like, oh yeah, look at that bat swing, and they'll
Yep.
notice things like that. and
Yep. Exactly.
and you got to kind of find what it is that your niche is, what you enjoy, and just start talking about it.
Yeah. Mm.
And
Exactly. Yeah.
I, and I think you keep doing that. You put out good content, people will gravitate towards you.
Yeah.
So it's what I've tried to do when I so for me, I like to look at things from a very player perspective. So I'm not as harsh. I'd like to think when I look at the team, like when I talk to my family members, my friends, and everyone's kind of down on Sri Lankan cricket, and they talk about, oh,
Mm.
what do we need to do and all that. I'm just like, listen, you just need to, like, everyone needs to take a step back, understand that these are human beings first and foremost. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
they're athletes, it's the players, but you got to give them the right conditions if you want them to succeed. And
Mm.
success and failure, nothing happens in a vacuum, right? So
Yeah. Yeah.
everything is connected. And
Mm.
when you look at some of Sri Lanka cricket's great moments post 2014, you can probably count it on one hand, right? There are obviously series wins that we've had at home, Australia, South Africa, India, and there's like the odd away test win, but the big one is the Asia Cup, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
20,
Definitely.
2022. And then
Yeah.
there's the 2023 Asia Cup. We made it to the final, but everyone forgets that. Everyone forgets that we did actually quite well to make it to the final, because we got to the final and we got absolutely destroyed.
Humiliated. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
was exactly, the word is, it was a humiliation. And everyone forgets that after, because the 2023 World Cup happened after that, and that was again a pretty disastrous World Cup. But
Exactly.
once more, when we analyze these things, I think it's so important to look at it in a holistic way, and try to take the positives, because it's a team game. It's a team game. You know, you win as a team, you lose as a team, but if there are good things, you got to take it. So that's what I try to focus in my writing and in my commentary and whatnot.
Yeah. So you try to stay
So,
like yeah. So you try to stay like neutral and you don't like to say like
oh yeah,
biased things on Sri Lanka cricket. That's what
for
I feel
sure.
like you're trying to say.
The
Yeah.
neutrality
Yeah.
is, it's a given. I think I've been doing journalism now for since 2011, right?
Okay.
So it's been nearly 15 years. So
Mm.
yeah, neutrality is paramount. You can't. And it's funny, because when you are neutral, you get accused of so many things. You get accused of bias all the time. The number of comments I
Yeah.
get about being biased towards, like, India, oh, I'm just like, how is that a
Exactly.
thing? And you get comments because you're obviously on Cricinfo, which is, uh, there's a lot of
Oh
focus
yeah.
on India, the India desk and all that.
Exactly. Exactly.
And so people are like,
Exactly.
oh, you're on the
Mm.
payroll. I'm like, yeah, well, yeah, I am on the payroll. I do get paid for my work, but the last thing you'll find me doing is being biased towards India. I can
Yeah.
compliment them. I can say that they're a good team. I can find
Yeah.
the good in them, but that doesn't mean I'm biased. But yeah,
Yeah.
so sometimes when you try not to be biased, you swing the other way.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Exactly.
but I think that's the nature of fandom, right? All fans think that journalists hate their club or hate their team. It's
Mm.
it's absolutely
Exactly.
wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. What do you think went wrong for Sri Lanka before we go to the topic? Like, what really happened to Sri Lanka after 2014? Because I know, like, it was really hard for the Void, especially when Dilshan, Sangha, Mahela, all three of them retired. But
Oh yeah.
what really happened, according to you? Like, because there was Angelo Matthews, they were thinking like Chandimal and Thirimana will be the ones who will step up and all that, but what really went wrong? Do you think it's like the transition of how it took place, or whether Mahela and Sangha really didn't guide the youngsters properly, like made Matthews to step up or whatever? Where did it go wrong? Because from 1996 to 2015, the transitions did went well, but after that, it was just not the way that we wanted it to go, though. Yeah.
Okay, so I suppose you it's there's no one answer. right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a. I know it sounds like a cop out to say it's a combination of things, but okay,
Yeah.
like let's try to like keep it in. Even if we take 96 onwards, right?
Yeah.
Nobody expected 96 to happen, right?
Yeah.
And when it did, like, I think there's a certain level of. I recently came across this phrase. It was in a sports article. It's called turbo nostalgia, right?
Okay.
Where
Yeah.
when people look back, sometimes, a lot of the time, they'll look back and they will look at something in a nostalgic viewpoint, but they'll only take away the good,
Mm. Yeah.
right? Without necessarily looking at it as a whole. Because maybe you might really dislike something now, but then you look back 10 years from now, you'll be like, oh, what a wonderful time, right?
Mm.
And I
Exactly.
think
Yep.
what has happened when we come to Sri Lankan cricket is we look back at 96. We look, but, and you think about it, but we kind of gloss over 99, don't we? We gloss over that
Mm.
99 World Cup, right?
Exactly. Yep. Yep.
Because the 99 World Cup, what happened straight after the 99 World Cup? Australia, I think there was a tour. They came here, and it was a fantastic tour. I think we beat them in the ODIs. We beat them. No, there was a good Test series, right?
Mm.
We were very competitive. I think that, if I'm not mistaken, I think that was a series where Vast defended like 7 runs off the final over, or something along those lines.
Yep. Yep.
Great time, right? And then we remember those moments. Sri Lanka we love to talk about the Sharjah Cup, like how many
Oh yeah.
Sharjah Cups, and because we'd go to the Sharjah Cup,
Yeah.
and we would win a lot of Sharjah Cups, right?
Exactly. Yep. Yep.
And
Yep.
bilateral tours as a whole were the thing.
Mm.
Everybody
Yes.
cared so much about bilateral tours. Like, if we had so many tri-nation series. So there were less, if you really think about it, the feeling of winning happened a lot back then,
Mm.
because there were enough moments where you felt like, ooh, that feels good, right? And I
Yep.
think
Yep.
when we look
Exactly.
back, we remember the feeling as opposed to the nitty-gritty, the results and the details. Like, just the other day, there was a video on YouTube celebrating Shibnarayan Chandapal, and it popped up on my feed. And it was a match I'd
Okay.
completely forgotten about it, where he scored
Yeah.
a 4 and a 6 of the last two deliveries to beat Sri Lanka.
Oh yeah. Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You remember
I've
that,
seen it.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. This
Yeah.
was in Kingston, I think. He
Mm.
Chaminda Vas bowling, mind you. Chaminda Vas bowling, and
Exactly.
this
Yeah.
man hits a
Yeah.
4 and a 6. Right?
Yeah. Yeah. I
If
remember.
that
Yeah. Yeah.
if that happened in this day and age, can you imagine
Mm.
the abuse Chaminda Vas would have gotten online for
Exactly.
giving
Yeah.
away
Yeah.
10 runs in two deliveries and throwing away the
Mm.
game?
Mm. Yep.
They'll be
Yeah.
talking about, his inability to handle pressure, there'll be question marks over his team, place in the team.
Mm.
And
Exactly.
this is what
Yeah.
happens, right? We had this same thing happen to Lahiru Kumara a few years ago, where he got
Yep.
hammered at the death, right?
Yes.
And
Against South Africa. Yeah. Yeah.
he got hammered
2020
at the
World
death.
Cup. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was forgotten that he had done really well prior to that in Australia, bowling at the death. So,
Exactly. Yep.
right, and I think when we look back and we try to paint this picture as like, oh, there's been a downfall, there's been a rise, all that, I think it's very easy to maybe misrepresent actually how history took place. Yes, we
Mm.
made it to a lot of finals, and it was a good team, but it was a good team. Like, there were key, like, we're talking about Tilakaratne Dilshan, Mahela Jayawardene, Kumar Sangakkara. These are three of our greatest ever players, all playing
Yep.
at their peak
Absolutely.
at the
Yep.
same time. And alongside Murali, who was
Mm.
also there for large chunks of that. And I think people, you can't, everyone kind of forgets how great Murali was. It's weird to say about someone who's got 800 wickets in Test match cricket, but
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
Murali did is he enabled us to produce any type of wicket. We didn't need to produce spinning wickets.
Exactly. Yeah.
Sri
Yeah.
Lanka, Gaul was always spinner friendly, but generally we produce batting tracks at home. The Kettarama was always Kettarama, but when we played test matches at SSC and all, these were batter friendly wickets. It meant that Kumar and Mahela could go and score hundreds and hundreds of runs against South Africa and whatnot, and Murali just comes up. Like Nicky Boye is getting absolutely hammered, but Murali is rocking up and turning the ball square.
Exactly. Yeah.
Murali was a game changer. Having Murali there improved everyone around them. And I think post Murali's retirement, post 2014, once we lost all these players, suddenly the team, they didn't really have the one all-time great to bank on. So everyone had to kind of pool in. And once everyone has to pool in, suddenly you start to feel where exactly it is that the weaknesses are. And I think if you really look at it, look at the team that won the Asia Cup, right? It was like, how many of those players are still playing for us, right? And I think that's what you're asking. That team worked at that point because everything kind of came up trumps. Like you had Danushka Gunatilaka playing at number 4. Dhananjay De Silva came in just for the final, right, to play at number 3. Bhanuka Rajapaksa, probably the only really good tournament he had for us, comes in clutch, plays an innings of a lifetime in that final against Pakistan, right? And throughout the tournament, you had Kusal Mendis and Pathum Nisanka just wrecking things at the top of the order. So when you talk about how teams win, if every plan that you have comes together, of course you're going to win. And I think we, as fans, as analysts, even sometimes you get caught up in, did they leave a good side? Did they not usher in? Who do you blame? Do you blame the selectors? Yeah, I think the selectors can take blame. Maybe they shouldn't have. Maybe some players should have been given a little bit longer. But even when it comes to selectors, it's not an exact science. Their jobs depend on the team winning, right? So when their jobs depend on the team winning, and then the people they pick don't perform, you get like, even when you look at India, like Ravindra Jadeja had to be defended so many times by Mahendra Singh Dhoni because the selectors didn't want him. So I think when you look at our team right now, I don't see too many problems, but the main problem is that the teams we're competing against are really good. That is
really good. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that is the issue. So we can, and I think we're going to get into that now, right?
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So let's get into the upcoming Zimbabwe series coming up. So I know that we are going to play against Zimbabwe and possibly Ireland before, I think, this year, and then after that we're going to the England series next Jan before the 2020 World Cup. So I just want to give the thoughts. So finally, Upul Taranga decides to obviously drop Pavishkas, obviously, I think, because he was getting the criticism on social media and all that. And then obviously with the stats or whatever, obviously it was obvious that he has to be out of that team. And now they've decided to bring in Pavan, Ratnayake and Nuwaindu Fernando based on domestic performances. We have Kamindu Mendes batting at number 4. I do not know why he's not being given a consistent run. I've asked this from several people. I brought Brad even in last 3 weeks ago because he was the former Sri Lanka cricket analyst, and he has also no answer with this, why they're not giving a consistent run to Kamindu. But I want to ask, like, why now? Yes, it's 6 or 7 months before the 2020 World Cup. I understand now they're bringing Pavan, Ratnayake and Nuwaindu. But against teams like Zimbabwe and Ireland, like the oppositions we have, is it like really ideal to take a risk on this and go for all these youngsters now? Because now they know, like the selectors know now, they're getting all this criticism. They also can't handle it anymore. And when the players that they pick are also not performing, What's your thoughts on that,
So,
Madushka?
okay. So the main thing, like, yes, I think you're right. It's a difficult job being a selector. Um, I'll and I will say I don't think these selectors have been as trigger happy as selectors of the past. I think this group of selectors. Mm, are you getting some sort of feedback? I think we lost Pavan. I think he's back. Please forgive the technical difficulties, guys.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I
I
can. I
don't know
can
why
hear
it
you.
was going. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. All good. Yeah,
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 I can hear you now. I can hear you now. I can't see
yeah.
you though.
Can you see me now? Wait, give me a second. All right. Now is it good?
No, It's still black.
Now?
Okay, now. Yeah, I got you. Yeah.
Yeah. All good.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Start.
So
Continue. Yeah.
let's just go through these guys one at a time. I think that could work. So I think
Yeah.
you got to look at it in two ways. One is every one of these guys, Pavan, Ratnayake, Nuwaindu, Fernando, Vishen Halambage, and Kamin Mishra, they've all made a case to be included, right?
Yeah.
Of
Yeah.
them, weirdly enough, the most impressive has been Halambage, just purely based on his intent. He's just an intent merchant. Like that's all he does. He
Yeah.
just comes there. He just tries to absolutely blast the ball from ball one, and you love to see that.
Yeah. Mm.
But he is 20, right?
Yeah.
So I think everyone needs
Mm.
to kind of temper their expectations and understand that this
Exactly.
is a
Yeah.
20-year-old. That is a 20-year-old we're talking about. But listen, if you want to give him a bit of game time, some experience, there are ways, but there's pathways. The A team has been getting a lot of really good tours lately. You know, that's still there, and he's only 20 years old. So there's time. He's got his career
Yeah.
ahead of him. The others,
Yeah.
Nuwaindu, Pavan is also pretty young, right?
Yeah.
Pavan, though, I I watched him bat. I did some voice commentary work for the Major League final, and
Okay.
I saw him bat, and he was just destroying the bowling, right?
Mm.
He was, but
Mm.
he was crushing the spin. He's I loved his footwork. So I think against spin, he's a very, very good prospect. But that said, you're not going to be able to test him against pace even in domestic cricket, because
Yeah.
unless he's
Yeah.
facing the likes of like a premier seamers on a regular basis, you're not going to really
Mm.
be able to test him against what he's going to face in international cricket. So for that, you kind of have to put him
Exactly.
in the deep end and see how he swims, right?
Yeah.
But a lot of potential there. Nuwaindu, he's been knocking on the door for a while, right? He's
Mm.
also got
Mm.
he's got those long arms, which aids his power hitting. He loves to hit sixes. He's right up there in the six hitting chart for the
Yeah.
recent SLC T20.
Mm.
And I think we definitely need someone in that number 4 position. So
Yeah.
why not Nuwaindu, right? Because Avishka, listen, Avishka was probably the first batter in a long time that I was really excited to see when he came on the scene. He was so
Mm.
exciting, and he could take on the
Yeah.
pace,
Exactly. Yep.
you know.
Definitely. Definitely.
But I feel like he's got the same issues Kusal Mendes had a few years ago, where I think there's a lot of online criticism of him. He's a new father, right? There's These are all factors that you got to take in and understand that, again, success, especially for batters, it's a high pressure environment. These things don't happen in a vacuum, and you need to understand that someone like Avishka, if he's having a bad time of it, he's having a bad time of it. But I hope that them putting him out of the team doesn't mean that he's out of their thoughts.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
maybe because there is a player in there. He can be
Okay.
so destructive.
Yep.
But yeah, at this point, the selectors don't have a choice, right? When those are the
Yep.
figures that you have in T20 cricket, and you've been given such
So many
opportunities,
chances. Yeah, I don't think
it's
so.
it's it's tough to justify. It can pay off, but in a World Cup year, I'm not saying I would have done the same thing, but listen, I don't think anyone can sit there and be like, oh, you shouldn't have dropped him. But I think we need to be
Yeah.
kind to Avishka and understand that, you know what, he's a guy, he's a human being, he's trying his best, he's a talented cricketer, but it's just not coming off for him at the moment, right?
Mm. Mm.
Um, and then you got the other guy who I really like, but Kusal Perera, can he be relied upon in that number 3, number 4 role? Right? He did very well in the PSL in those couple of matches that he played.
He did well in the New Zealand series where he scored
Yeah,
100 in the 2020 match.
right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he definitely is a very w- destructive player, and he's
Yeah.
the kind of player you want, because you have like Patum and Kusal at the top of the order. You don't need to mess
Yeah.
with
You
them,
can.
right?
Yeah.
I think there is a world in which you could bring Kusal, put him at number 3. You could put him at number 3 and maybe open with somebody else alongside Patum, because
But you won't.
Kusal is,
But you won't want to ruin the combination, right?
yeah,
Because
you don't want
Nissanka
to
and
ruin the
Mendes are
combination.
doing well.
So
Yeah.
I'm just
Exactly.
putting this out there because
Yeah.
because Kusal is so okay. So if you lose an early wicket, having someone like Kusal
Yeah.
Mendes come is ideal. If
Yeah.
you don't lose an early wicket,
Yeah.
having Kusal come when the spinner's on is also very useful, because he's so good now against spin,
Mm.
right?
Yep.
He's probably one of our best batters against spin. So in T20 cricket, when it's only 20 overs long, having Kusal come in the middle overs might not be the worst thing, right?
Exactly. Yep. Yep.
Uh, but either way, that's something to think about. But
Yeah.
Kusal Perera I like, but again, his consistency has been worrying. So who do you put there,
Mm.
right? Who do you put in there? Are you going to
Mm.
really put Vishen Halambage in the squad in a World Cup year? It's a tough ask. So I would
Mm.
say Nuwaindu is probably the only one that gets in on merit, because
Yeah.
he has earned his keep. Aside
Mm.
from that, I do like the idea of Kamidu Mendes coming up the order.
Yeah.
He's he's shown a lot of skills. And then the sad thing is, maybe even someone like Banuka at a point could have, but his attitude off the field, there's question marks.
Okay.
And it's it's not that he's a bad dude, right? But I
Yeah.
think when you are competing to play for the Sri Lanka national side, right, I think you need to be pushing in every aspect of your life,
Okay.
right? And
Mm.
that
Mm.
that means you need to be pushing in your fitness, you need to be pushing in your fielding, you need to be seen to try, and especially when your coach is someone like Janith Liyanage, who is someone who excelled in all aspects of the game.
Yep. Yep.
You know, I can understand why someone like Banuka is being overlooked, even though he did quite well in this tournament. He was showing a lot of good touch, but again,
But he
this is the
he always does well in franchise tournaments. So what if you go to CPL,
yeah.
if he goes to PSL, he always performs or what, and all the franchise leagues do look in Banuka. So I know like his fitness, his attitude is not that great, but still he's a power hitter. Like you need power hitters in the
Yeah,
2020 format, and he is
so
one.
this is
Yeah.
something. So this is like a little nugget that I was informed about during the SL T20, the recent
Okay.
one, where
All right.
he was like, he was a little bit, he was wearing like his um, Sri Lanka jersey, the national team jersey, when
Okay.
he was out there
Oh,
practicing,
okay. All
warming up with
right.
the team.
Okay.
You know, and it's these
Mm,
little
mm,
things that rub people the wrong way, You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah. Exactly.
and you like, I get it. That's part of his personality, and you want personalities in sport, right? Listen, I'm a
Yeah.
Man United fan. I love Cantona. Like, like personalities are a big thing. You want big
Exactly.
characters. As Sri Lankan
Yeah.
fans, we love Arjun, right? And he was the
Yeah.
biggest character of the
Exactly.
world. So,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
that's that. But the sport has changed, and I think
Exactly.
if you want a cultural reset,
Mm.
I think that's what we need to look at. I think our team, if you look at it now, our bowling is good, our top order is good. We've
Yeah.
got we've got probably the world's best number five in Charith Asalanka,
Sorry, that's Sri Lanka. Yeah. Definitely.
right? And then now Chamika Karunaratne, that's a name. Like, how do you escape this guy, right?
Yeah.
He topped the bowling charts. He's got the best economy rate. He's hitting bound. He's got his strike rate up. He's doing everything that's asked of him. And
Exactly.
the
Yeah.
reason
Yeah.
the reason I have always like I'm aware of his off-field antics and whatnot, but
Mm. Yeah.
like Bhanuka,
Yeah.
the reason I've always been a big advocate of Chamika is just that he's just a competitive beast. Like, this is
Exactly.
the
Yeah.
kind of guy
I
that
agree.
will probably hate to lose to you in a ping pong match. Like, he is
Mm.
someone that will just want to win everything. Like, you could be flipping coins and he will get competitive about it. And sometimes you just need these competitive guys in your team to drive everyone up to reach the bit. It's no coincidence that our only trophy in the last 10 years came with Chamika in the side. And
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
did he what did he really do during the Asia Cup?
It's a
Bits
big
and
question
pieces.
mark.
Yeah,
Yeah.
bits
Yeah.
and pieces. He didn't underperform, but he
Yeah.
did what was required. He was there taking catches. He was there opening the bowling if he needed to. He was
Mm.
there just to
Mm.
see a few shots to see things through at the end. And
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Sri Lanka cricket needs that. It's sometimes in T20 cricket you need bits and pieces players. You need guys who just come in and just do little bits. Jadeja started off bits and pieces. We used to have we played a World Cup with guys like Kumar Dharmasen in our side. Bits and pieces. Upul Chandra, bits and pieces. Like,
Exactly.
guys who
Yeah.
will
Yeah.
who are not amazing in any facet of the game, but who are not bad in any facet of the game. These are your
Even Ramesh
700.
Kalwitan, I think also. Yeah, even
Yeah,
Ramesh Kalwitan. I
he's
mean, he
ex-
was good back in the 90s or whatever, but in the
but
96 World Cup,
oh, exactly.
he was also same thing. Yeah,
You
exactly.
need those guys where you can rely on them to have a very set flow. Yeah,
Mm,
they are not.
yeah,
Maybe they're not going to win you a game, but they will. You put them, then you know what you're going to get, right?
exactly. Yep, yep. Exactly.
It's a And
Mm,
the other guy, again, this is going to get me a lot of flack. I'm sure. I'm a fan of Dasun Shanaka. I like Dasun Shanaka.
yeah, yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah,
he
yeah.
he's a
That's
divisive
good.
personality. I mean, he's a lovely guy, but he's a divisive
Yeah.
guy in terms of what he offers. But if you
Mm,
are
yeah,
a modern thinking cricket side, you need a power hitter coming
yeah.
in at number six, number
Definitely,
seven, right?
definitely. Yeah,
And Dasun Shanaka fits the bill.
yeah,
He
definitely.
can clear it. He can absolutely destroy. Yes, he's got a bit of a problem against leg spin, which we know, but
Yeah.
surely just get him in the nets with Jeffrey Van der Saamen for like for hours a day. Just
Even
get
with
this guy.
Hasaranga, yeah, even with
Yeah,
Hasaranga once he's fit or whatever. Yeah, exactly.
yeah, right,
Yeah,
exactly. Like, it's definitely something to think about. But I know the selectors are not keen on having both Shanaka and Chamika in the same 11,
mm, mm,
because it means that one of them would have to bat higher. But I think
yeah,
in T20 cricket, you kind of have to, like, come on, like, these players need to perform, like, when it happens. Because if you have your top five of Nisanka, Mendes, Kamidu, Wanindu, Asalanka. Okay, let's say that's your top five. Then below that, you can have a Chamika. You can have, so that Chamika would come in at six. And then you have your bowlers. So you would want Patirana, Tushara. So Esham Malinga had a pretty bad SLC T20 League, right? And now because of that, I don't think he's going to be selected for the T20 squad that's touring.
Why did you choose Patirana, by the way? Because I think Patirana didn't do well for Sri Lanka recently in the, I think in the
Patirana has
Bangladesh series,
changed.
not even being picked also. I
So
mean, he didn't
Patirana,
even play a single match, right? Yeah, I think in
so
the Bangladesh
Patirana,
series. Yeah.
Patirana, yeah. So Patirana he seemed to have changed his action uh, back to
Okay.
that
Yeah.
low slingy action in the SL T20. But
Okay.
yeah, it's a bit of a gamble, but it's just that he is so good at the death. He is such a
True.
good
True.
option at the death. And I feel
Mm.
like when you have a guy that plays for CSK,
Yeah.
right, surely you got to try to fit him in, right?
Mm.
Um,
Mm.
so, well, and of course, there's Theekshana, right? So
Yeah.
Theekshana has to play. Theekshana for me is probably the first name on
Yeah.
the
Yeah. Definitely. Definitely.
on the
No doubt.
sheet.
No doubt about that.
I love Theekshana.
The only thing
Nuwaindu,
like Hasaranga The only thing like Hasaranga should play at number 7 because I think I was
yeah,
speaking this with Brad and even I've been speaking to Mark and everyone about this Hasaranga experiment or whatever. And it obviously I know that Hasaranga has potential with his batting, but I feel like Hasaranga is suited at 7 in my opinion, rather than because I think we probably need a proper number 4 and we shouldn't be experimenting. I mean, it depends on the match situation, I feel, also
yeah.
on how Hasaranga bats or whatever. Like, it depends whether he
So
goes bat
you
at number
it's
5 or
easy.
number
I mean,
7.
Hasaranga was
Yeah,
crucial in that final. It was
yeah,
Hasaranga's innings floating up that allowed Banuka to do what he did, right?
exactly. Yeah,
So,
yeah, definitely. Yeah,
but the thing is this, that was so long ago. I've not seen that side of Hasaranga in a while. I don't know what it is.
yeah,
I'm worried.
yeah,
Uh, the Hasaranga of the LPL circa 2023 was a monster, right?
yeah,
His
definitely,
batting was more
definitely,
devastating
100%.
than his bowling. And if we can get
Yeah,
that version
absolutely.
of Hasaranga back, it's a no-brainer. But I haven't seen anything in the last year and a half to suggest that that version of Hasaranga is there or if he's working. I don't know what's happened. I can't
Yeah,
speak towards it. But what
I
I've
think
seen on
probably
the pitch,
injuries. I think a lot of
injuries
injuries to
definitely,
Hasaranga. Yeah, yeah,
injuries definitely. He's also put on weight.
yeah,
And that is not going to help when you have a hamstring injury or anything along those lines. So
exactly.
I worry about that because I don't think you can pick Hasaranga purely on his bowling.
Okay, okay.
It's difficult. Okay, because he's not a all surface bowler.
Yeah,
That's the issue. Like
exactly.
if you're playing matches at the Kettarama during the next World Cup, sure, you play Hasaranga. That's a no brainer. But if you're playing matches in India, do you Theekshana will be fine. Theekshana will do what
Yeah,
Theekshana does. But at that point, maybe you gamble with either someone like a VS Kant, who again did very well, right? He showed a lot of variation, he showed a lot of control. You could do VS Kant, or you could go with like a Dushan Hemanta, who who can hit a bit of a quick 20 here and there with the bat. You know what you're getting. And he's a
mm,
gun fielder. Hemanta
yeah,
he will save you
definitely.
runs,
Yeah,
right? So he's a good fielder. He will tick along with his leg spin. Obviously, he won't be as potent as a Hasaranga,
mm,
but that's what you need to consider, especially if you're going to be playing on batter friendly surfaces. Because I worry that Hasaranga is not an option on those surfaces. Because at that point, you just go with Theekshana as your main spinner and just go with three seamers.
But do you think like Sanath will ever drop Hasaranga? That is the biggest question because he is the main spinner
Oh yeah.
after all. Because with because Theekshana, yes, I know he's a good spinner, whatever, but he doesn't take regular wickets. Also, I feel like that's the problem with Theekshana. Yes, he knows how to control the runs and but put the batters under pressure, create dot balls. So whatever that's what he's good at mostly. Not getting wickets
So
immediately,
isn't
but
that
yeah.
what you want for in T20 cricket?
Yeah,
That's what
exactly.
I would
That's what I meant.
that's what I
Yeah,
would argue.
definitely. That's what I meant. Exactly. No, I agree
I
with that
think
completely. But you need that wicket taker, right? You need that wicket
so.
taker, and then Hasaranga is that player who can get the wickets, right?
Yeah.
Whereas Teakshan is the one who puts the pressure on the batters and then makes them to make the mistakes when the other spinner bowls. That's what Teakshan
So
is good at doing. Yeah.
what I like to think of when I think about anything really, but in sports and these matchups and all, I like to think about like, okay, so in a best case scenario, if you're thinking of it very
Yeah.
positively, what you said, 100% spot on, and it's happened where you
Yeah.
just see Hasaranga and Theekshana just run through batting lineups, right?
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
it's a sight to behold. But what I
Exactly.
like to see when it comes to T20 cricket is adaptability, right?
Mm.
It's all well and good to go in with a plan,
Yeah.
but if your plan A is this good, but your plan B is over here, that's a problem. I'd
Mm.
much rather a plan A that's a little bit here, but a plan B that's a much closer to the plan A, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and
Exactly.
I think in this day and age of data analysts and matchups, I mean, to the matchups are getting so crazy that I think you see Dhananjay just consistently bowling because there's two left-handers at the crease. Like that is
Yeah.
that's the level of with which teams value matchups, right? And I'm not.
Yep. Absolutely.
This is not to go uh, pro or against matchups. That's fine, but I'm
Yeah.
saying in terms of adaptability. What okay? So you like let's take a hypothetical situation, right? So you have a match. You've got your team is Patirana. Okay, what is the traditional Sri Lanka starting bowling lineup? Okay, so you've got Tushara, right?
Yeah.
You've got Theekshana, you've got Hasaranga,
Got
and
Chamira.
you put Chamira in there. That's four, right? And then you'll have a fifth bowler that is made up of possibly
Hasaranga.
well, Asalanka, maybe Kamidu will
Yeah.
bowl a little bit, right? So you got a few spinners bowling the rolling over, right?
Yeah.
That's your team. But in that, if someone takes on Hasaranga, you
Mm.
have absolutely nowhere to turn because Hasaranga will always come on right as the power play ends. Everyone knows that Hasaranga is coming to bowl in the seventh or eighth over. He's going to bowl there. Theekshana
Yeah.
is going to bowl probably the second
In
over
the
or the
power
third
play.
over. Yeah.
Yeah.
He'll bowl 2 overs in the power play and they'll leave him for two at the end.
Yeah.
And then you're left with trying to figure out who your
Amidu.
death bowlers are. Yeah. So Asalanka now will try to sneak in 2 overs in the middle overs, right? And this is
Mm.
where you want someone like a Chamika or a Shanaka. So they can come in, bowl a couple of 1 over each, 2 overs each, here and there. That's
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
having one of those two guys, very handy, right?
Yep.
It means
Exactly.
that you don't need to rely so much on Asalanka or Kamidu to bowl.
Mm. Yeah.
I am a big fan of Binura. I know not many
Yeah.
people consider him in the first team, but I like him because he's a thinking cricketer. He
Mm.
will use his cutters. He'll use his variations. He keeps his economy rate relatively low for a fast bowler. He's not ever going to be breaching. I don't think he even gets it above 135 on a regular basis. But
Yeah. Yeah.
his height makes him uncomfortable even on good batting tracks. He's able to get bounce off good lengths. It's
Exactly.
the
Yep.
kind of bowler you want. So I would like him, but then you also have to think you have the options. Dushma, but Dilshan Madhushanka is there, left arm seamer, right? Someone to think about. Ishan Malinga.
But he's Yeah, but I don't think Madushka has been considered for 2020s. I
No,
think
he's
only
not.
for ODIs, right
It's
now.
only for
Yeah.
ODIs.
But
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 there's
Ishan
still time.
Malinga, yeah, I feel like Ishan Malinga, he might have had a bad domestic tournament, but still, I think the way that he performed in the IPL, I think he still should be considered. I think because anyone can have a bad tournament, right? And still,
Yeah.
you need to back the players, right? Because he had a good Bangladesh tour. To be honest, he had a good. It happens. Like you can have one bad tournament, doesn't mean it's the end of the world for him. Like you have to somehow select him no matter what, because he ultimately performed in the IPL. That's what it matters the most, because that is an international tournament. And I know
Yeah.
IPL is a league, franchise league or whatever, but if you perform in the highest stage, still, no matter if you perform badly in the domestic, you have to still select him, right? Because he's
Also,
proven in the international stage. Yeah,
the one thing I
yeah,
would say about Malinga, he's a great bowler, but the one thing I'd say that you have to consider is also the dynamics of his IPL team versus the dynamics of him playing with Sri Lanka. Right? In an IPL
mm,
franchise, he was an unknown quantity, right?
yeah,
Teams likely
mm,
hadn't worked him out yet. B,
yeah,
he was also someone that teams might have been looking to target, which means that you have more chances of picking up wickets. Those
yeah,
are two key elements of him succeeding in the IPL. Are those
mm,
replicable? Don't know. Right? Is he a good
yeah,
bowler? Most definitely. But I think we just need to understand he's a good bowler.
yeah,
He's got great control. He's quick. He's zippy. Right? He can do exactly what you need at the depth. But you need to use him right, because if you put him in a Sri Lanka team where players can play him on merit,
yeah,
suddenly it he loses a bit of his potency. You
yeah,
need to get
exactly.
players taking on your best bowlers in situations where it is not optimal. So which is why,
Yeah,
like, I don't like having Patirana bowling up front, because you want teams taking Patirana on at the depth. Because
yeah,
yes, he might be a bit wavered sometimes, he might get hit sometimes, but nobody wants to take on a bowler bowling 150 kilometers an hour with a slinging action, who can get a Yorker, who can basically get you leg before wicket off a back of a length delivery, right? Nobody wants to face that kind of bowler at the death.
yeah.
So I think that's why I like Patiran as a pick. I think we have we're getting a bit of distortion. Can you hear properly now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's I'm not you're not clear much.
I don't know the connection right now. Hello. Uh, can you
No, it's like it's getting distorted.
now? I'm trying to search. I don't connect today.
I'm changing my connection.
With my um
Wait,
okay, yeah.
let me try a different connection.
I will on my curiosity. That's why we find.
Is that okay?
Okay.
Try again. Say something.
Hello.
base. Can you hear me clearly? Just put a thumbs up.
I
Uh, but
can.
but you're slow. It's like a robotic voice on my end. Really
Either
sorry, man.
way, I can react
Yeah.
from this. Yeah. Okay. All good? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, that's much better now, no?
Okay. But
Okay.
yeah, I think something to do with my connections playing up today. I don't know for what reason. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
sorry
now
about
I
that.
think everything's sorted. No. It's all good. All good. It's all good.
Yeah.
Um. Where were we? I just want to
Yeah, we
take
were just
some
talking.
feedback from
Yeah.
the comment section also.
Yeah.
Yeah. In the meanwhile, so Rohan, my friend, also has been asking LPL being pushed to year end. How will it affect preparation for coming 2020 World Cup?
Uh, I think they did that because it's going to be closer to the tournament. It I imagine it'll be. I mean, I can't say for certain, but I think it could be quite an interesting LPL purely because I think a lot of teams, a lot of players, top players will want to play in this season's LPL because it
Yeah.
is just 2-3 months away from the World Cup, right?
Mm. Yep.
So, and it's in Sri Lankan conditions.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
as so there are going to be matches in Sri Lanka, and of course,
Yep.
there's going to be matches in India. So, I
Yep.
think we might get a pretty decent LPL. There might be a good couple of players that come in,
There's going to be a
and it's a
sixth
good
team,
time.
right? Also this time, there's going to be a sixth team, right? This time,
Yeah.
if they
So
confirmed it.
that's what they're trying. I don't think it's been officially confirmed yet, but from my conversations, they're looking, but they're looking. I think they're a bit cautious about who they are looking into as owners
Okay.
because of
Because
the
already I
problems.
think the Jaffna and Colombo franchise again they got changed, and especially Jaffna King's been there for 4 years now. Again, they've changed it, so I really don't know like the owner, like the like the way that they've been switching up the teams or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah,
Whether it's ideal to go for a sixth team also at the same time.
yeah. So I think the six team in a on a purely cricketing sense makes perfect sense. But
Yeah,
yeah, like you very correctly pointed out, the ownership issues is quite dicey. So they need to make sure that any owners that come in are above board and
yeah,
everything is
exactly.
good. But yeah, I like the idea of the LPL being pushed to the end of the year.
That's good. Yeah. Rohanos has asked, having better batting pitches in domestic can help the Sri Lankan batters become more dynamic for international standards. Your thoughts on that?
100% agree. I know for a fact that this has been a directive to domestic curators.
Yeah.
However, implementation I think will take a little bit longer than. So I think it's only started. They've started doing this over the last year or so.
Yeah.
I think implementation will take a little bit longer
Okay.
because there's so much of cricket being played that it's very difficult for the curators to actually work on a pitch
Mm.
unless you completely relay the pitch and you do it again. So there are pitches like in Kurunagala, if you play the one at Burger Recreational Club, these pitches are just uh, definitely not helpful for batters,
Yeah.
right?
Exactly.
But
Exactly.
if those ones can be fixed and sorted out over the next couple of years,
Yeah.
it it'll be okay. But I 100% agree. Like, get better batting pictures. I know that they have been relaying the pitch at Kettaram.
Mm.
So fingers crossed, by the time the LPL comes about, maybe we'll even get some high scoring matches at Premadasa.
Mm. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but like number four in 2020s, who do you think is the ideal choice right now? You think it's Kamindu or do we go to I
I think
mean,
Nuwaindu has to get a shot there initially. You have to get Nuwaindu. I think
okay,
there is an option to make to since we are playing Zimbabwe, maybe give Vishen Halambage a game at opening the order and push Kusal to three.
okay.
Pavan Ratnayake, it's tough to say. Number four is a position you need to be able to play a lot of seam, but he's a talented batter.
Yeah.
You have to test him out sometimes. So Pavan's an option, and Kamil Mishara. So Kamil Mishara has he's done a very good job opening the innings during this SL T20, and like he's a very good top order player,
Hmm.
lefty as well. I
Yeah.
think the fact that he's a left-hander probably is going to work to his advantage because if you've got Kusal and Patum at the top of the order, having a lefty there is going to be useful. So Kamil Mishara would be someone that I think they're going to be looking at for sure.
But I think he also played a few matches in 2020 and he didn't perform also. I think that was the
Yeah,
same
yeah, yeah.
problem.
Yeah. Again, but that's stepping up. That's the thing that you never know until you step in. But again, I don't know how useful this Zimbabwe tour is going to be because Zimbabwe wickets
Exactly.
are not particularly conducive to batting. So again, we're kind of in no man's land. You're bringing these young players in, but they're going to be playing because I think what's going to happen is that once more you're going to have our spinners running the show over there.
Hmm.
That's what happened last
Even
time.
without
Theekshana.
Hasaranga, I think still, I think, they'll bring in Vandase and Theekshana, and both
Yeah,
of them will be picking up wickets.
Van der
Yeah.
Sar is gonna love it. Van der Sar is gonna love it in those conditions. I'm expecting Van der Sar to get quite a few wickets.
Hmm. I think not having the India tour, it was a big loss, I think, for Sri Lanka,
Yes.
especially. I think if we had that India tour, I think that would have probably helped Sri Lanka a lot, especially this month. If we had that tour, unfortunately, that didn't happen. And now we have the Zimbabwe and Ireland, which is not really ideal for our 2020
Yeah.
World Cup preparation. Then we have a England tour, which that is just before the 2020 World Cup. I think we have 5 2020 matches, if I'm not mistaken, in that series. So, or three ODIs, three 2020s. But yeah, but that's the only one that will probably test. So it's going to be a bit of a concern, I think, happening.
For sure.
But
For sure.
yeah. But one more question before we go to the final question for me. So, final two questions for me. So, Sadeera being back in the ODI team, I know there is no ODI World Cup till 2029. The Champions Trophy is also, ODI World Cup in 2027, Champions Trophy in 2029. Sadeera back in the ODI team at number 4. Any thoughts on that also? I don't know why the selectors are going back to Sadeera again. I have no question on that, but still, why Sadeera at this point?
So I don't know why the selectors are going, but I do think so. I am. I do like Sadeera. I like his personality. I think he has he's got a good cricketing head on his shoulders. I think
Yeah,
he's a player that he's the kind of player when he is playing well, or even when he's playing badly, whatever it is, he understands the game situation, right? The
yeah,
number of
exactly.
times where you see him up the tempo just when it's needed, and you almost never see him bogged down. He will always rotate the strike. He's
Exactly.
very good at that, and that is what you need in ODI cricket,
Yeah.
right? Um, I think he had a lean stretch
Hmm.
and he got dropped after that.
Yeah.
But I like Sadeera. I'm a fan of Sadeera. I don't think he's particularly uh, flamboyant. Like he's not a destructive player. I don't think he's someone like an Asalanka, for example,
Yeah.
who on
Exactly.
his day is just going to absolutely take the game away from you.
Yeah.
Nor do I think yeah, I don't think he's on the level of like. So of course he was. I think Kusal captained him right at some
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
The under 19 squad. So they
Correct. Yeah.
came through. They were both aggressive players. But there's something about Sadir. I like him. I like him as a player. I think having players like Sadeera in your side, these unassuming characters who just get on with their work, get on with the job, is so important to any cricketing side. You need to have your superstars, but then you need to have your workhorses. And
Yeah.
Sadeera, he's a gun fielder. You put him at point, he's
Exactly.
going to do the job there. So he's a good fielder. He can keep if needed. So he's handy there. It's just that you have to ask, is Sadeera someone that will fit in your side when you are trying to become like the best team in the world? Probably not.
Yeah.
Right? But that is a question for another day.
Yeah.
So I think I understand why the selectors want him in.
Yeah.
I like him. I like him. And like you said, the World Cup it's 2027, right? So it's 2 years away.
Oh, yes.
Bringing him back, but I hope they're not. I hope they're bringing him back for the right reasons. I hope it's not just a stopgap thing and they're just like, okay, now you perform or you get out. I hope it's like there's some sort of plan to be like, okay, this is your role. This is what we expect of you, and we will back you for this many games or this many tours.
Yeah.
That is what I'm hoping, because I liked him. I like Sadeera. I liked him in the Test side. I liked him in the ODI side. It's only
And
in the
he did
T20.
not bad in the ODI World Cup also. He did not bad at all. I don't think he had a bad World Cup, in my opinion.
No.
Yeah.
Exactly.
He had a good
Exactly.
one. Yeah.
He
But I don't know why
he-
he's not being given the consistent runs. That's the other
should
problem.
be. I think maybe his PR isn't as good. Maybe it's got something to do with that. But I do think Sadeera definitely is. He is that quintessential ODI player. Like, he reminds me of like the old school Russell Arnold types, where you just very reliable player. I like him.
I think we just don't know like the right playing 11 in terms of ODI. I feel like we don't know the typical 11. That's why we keep on changing the playing 11. And
I think
even
with ODI is also, we need to also realize ODI cricket is no longer the ODI cricket we know, right?
Yeah.
It is now just a bunch of T20 players playing T20 for 50 overs. That is so.
Exactly.
So you will get a few players who absolutely understand how to pace an ODI innings, but there's a generation of players that are now coming in who have only played T20 cricket. I don't know if you can have an ODI specialist. So if Sadeera is going to be, maybe it is good to have someone like Sadeera who can just adapt. Just put him in that middle order. Put Hasaranga, right? I mean, let's pick, if you want, just pick the ODI top order. You're going to have Kusal Mendis. You're going to have Pathum Nissanka. You're going to have Charith Hasaranga. You're going to have, if you have Sadeera, you'll have Sadeera there, and you'll probably have Kamindu Mendis.
And then Janith Liyanage gets 6. Yeah.
Then you can have Janith Liyanage. That's a pretty great top order, if you ask me. The only in fact, this might seem like blasphemy.
Yeah.
But I am perhaps more worried about Janith Liyanage than I am about Sadeera.
Okay.
Only reason because I have not seen enough of Janith to say that he is able to. Like, he's great when your team collapses, loses 3-4 wickets, and suddenly.
But he's done it a lot of times, right, Madushka? That's the thing. Like
he's a wonderful.
For me, I think Janith has already convinced me to be in that playing level.
He's a wonderful safety net. But I want to see more of him in an aggressive tone. So you want Janith Liyanage coming in at number 6 if you're suddenly 80 for 4 in 20 overs, right? Janith Liyanage is the man at that point. Come in, knock it around, take it to the 40th over, and suddenly just get you up to like 280 and, give you a competitive total from utter disaster. But if you're 250 for 4 or 5 in the 40th over, then do you want Janith Liyanage in your side? Because at that point, you need someone who's going to make that 250 into 350. That's how the big teams win.
Yeah.
Right? You need someone who can absolutely destroy in those final 10 overs, coming lower down. And if you have a guy that can do both, that's great. But my worry is when you include Janith, you are completely eliminating that facet, and you're putting a lot of pressure then on guys above him, like Charith Asalanka, like Kusal Mendy. So now Kusal, now this is my biggest issue with Kusal in ODIs, because I feel like the team wants everything from him. They want him to hit hard at the top of the order, then they want him to bat through the innings, and then they want him to be there at the death also to hit the death bowling. I'm like, this poor man is expected to bat 50 overs. Like,
Exactly.
like not even Sanat was expected to do that. Sanat was told, oh, you come, you play, and you go.
Exactly. Yeah.
But the thing is, Kusal is such a generational talent. He's such a great player. I love watching him bat.
Yeah.
And he's just getting better and better.
Yeah.
I'm just like, you need power hitters, and this is why you need to incorporate in T20. You need to incorporate Pavan, Ratnayake. You need to incorporate these guys so that they can come in lower down the order and absolutely go ham at the death.
Exactly. Yeah.
That is my only concern with the inclusion of Janith Liyanage. I love him as a player. I think he's a very smart cricketer, right?
Yeah.
He can roll his arm over. But I feel like even Sadeera has more of a third and fourth gear than Janith. That's my worry.
Exactly. I agree. Yeah.
So I need to see that.
So from Zimbabwe series, do you think it's going to be like a whitewash for Sri Lanka in both 2020 ODI? So you think like Zimbabwe is going to be?
I will not be writing off Zimbabwe. I will not be writing off Zimbabwe, especially in Zimbabwe. Primarily because I don't I know some of their players, but I feel like there's a lot of new players that have come in that I have no real idea about. They got Brendan Taylor coming back as well.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
So yeah, I'm not going to get overconfident when it comes to Zimbabwe. Definitely not.
And why is that? Just because of the conditions, like because they're too good at home, because they have experienced team, or like
the conditions for one? I think anytime you face conditions which are more conducive to bowling, it'll make even the two most polarized teams, it'll bring them closer together. So just on that front. But I think Sri Lanka are favorites. I think definitely Sri Lanka. There's no question about it.
Yeah.
And I think our bowling is better than their bowling. I think our seamers can also do a very good job there. So I would say, we're definitely favorites, but I wouldn't write them off because they've got a lot of talented cricketers, and they've got cricketers that are with a point to prove. At home they'll be playing with a nice home crowd. So, very passionate crowd that they have there. They don't get too much cricket, too many international teams coming in.
Yeah.
And, they're going to be playing with their hearts on their sleeves. So I expect a tough contest. I don't think you can write any team off really in world cricket. That's why I was also not a fan of some of the discourse from past cricketers about, it's a terrible feeling to lose a series for the first time ever to Bangladesh and all. I'm like, come on, have a little respect, This is a good Bangladesh team. This half that team won the under-19 World Cup. You need to put a little bit of respect on these players, right? So we lost, but they played well.
Yeah, true. One last question before we end the show, Madushka. I just want to ask. I asked the same with Brad as well. 2026, 2020 World Cup's coming up. What are your expectations for this Sri Lankan team? What do you think will happen to this team according to you? For me, if they don't reach semi-finals at home, I also think it's a total failure. This team that they have, this is not a young team anymore, and you cannot. They've been playing so many 2020 matches, Asia Cup champions 2022, 2024. Yes, we had a reasons to tell 2022 or 2024, but I feel 2026 we really don't have excuse because it's at home and we got to perform. I know we couldn't have all the matches in Sri Lanka, but still they got to perform this time around, I feel, in my opinion. What are your thoughts though of the 2020 World Cup coming up?
I try I try to temper my expectations whenever a tournament comes around.
Yeah.
But this is not the USA West Indies tournament for sure,
Yeah.
right? And these are very familiar wickets for us. And yeah, I wouldn't term it a failure if we don't make it to the semis.
Yeah.
Neither would I say it's expected, because this is a it's a dynamic young team, but it's also a very unpredictable team, right?
Yeah.
And we're playing like just think about the teams that you have to, like, who are the other semi-final contenders? India, obviously. Australia. Obviously. There's
England,
India, Australia, right?
England,
England are always there and thereabout. New Zealand can never discount them, right?
What about
And
Afghanistan this time around? Do you think they
yeah,
have a shot
so,
at? Yeah.
so we are essentially in that bracket. We are in the Afghanistan bracket. So Afghanistan is good. I think we're clear of Afghanistan. I think we're just about clear of Bangladesh as well. I think we're above those two. West Indies are a complete unknown. I don't know how they're going to perform, but there'll be a challenge because they've got some very talented players coming through.
They'll be like dark horses for sure.
Yeah,
because they have won a 2020 World Cup in subcontinental before in 20.
South Africa also.
South Africa definitely. I feel South Africa definitely semi-finalists. In my opinion, I feel South Africa should be counted in this time around. In my opinion, I don't know what your opinion is, but yeah.
If Sri Lanka make it to the semi-finals, that means one of Australia, South Africa, England, India, New Zealand didn't make it.
Yeah.
And that would be a disappointment for any of those teams, right? Or, as you said, a failure. So I think if it's a failure for those teams, you could argue, yeah, maybe it is. I wouldn't say it's a failure for us, but what I want to see, here's what I want to see. I want to see us absolutely give it, like, make life hell for every team that comes to play us. I want them to be scared to face our bowling, and I want our batters to put on a show when they get the opportunity. Right? I want people to remember Kusal Mendis and Pathum Nisanka by the end of this tournament for some magnificent innings. I want Mahesh Theekshana to have a wonderful tournament. I want our seamers to be, celebrated. I want our fielding to be on top. That's what I want. If we can come across as like saying we've not dropped a single catch all tournament, that would be freaking amazing, right?
Exactly.
I think those are the things that we need to look at, and because I haven't seen the draw. I don't know if they've done any sort of seeding or anything as yet, right? So I don't know how it's going to work. Who we're going to get, because for example, like if we are playing India in either India or Sri Lanka, that's not great. But if we're playing South Africa in Sri Lanka, suddenly that matchup becomes very favorable. So that also depends. So I think it depends on how many matches we get at home against which kind of opposition, right?
Yeah.
And how suited they are to playing on our sort of services.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't begrudge anyone for hoping for a semi-final berth. Definitely not.
But Super 8s for sure, Sri Lanka, because last time we got for first round.
No, you gotta make it to the Super 8s.
Sri Lanka's got to made it to the Super 8s this time around.
For sure.
There's no excuse because it's at home.
I think this is a fantastic team. I'm very happy with our side. Like the fact that we're sitting here and talking for the better part of an hour about who the number 4 should be means that the rest of the team is pretty set.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. Definitely.
So I'm very content with the side. I think
definitely
there's a lot of potential there.
It's just I think the number 4 and probably the finishers. I think the number 7, number 6 and 7 mostly. But I think Shanaka, I feel like I fully trust in Shanaka. In my opinion, it doesn't matter the stats or whatever. He's still a clutch player whenever it matters. Whenever it matters, especially at home, he'll perform. So, and he has proven it before. So, I wouldn't doubt that. Definitely, I would doubt number 7. I hope Hasaranga does what he does at number 7. So,
I do even keep out Shamika. I don't see Shanaka and Shamika playing together. I would
No, I also
I
don't see
might,
that happening. That doesn't
but
won't
I
happen.
might, depending on the
Yeah.
pitch, I might. But I think Shamika, you might need to find a place for Shamika if he keeps putting in these performances. Let's see how he does in Zimbabwe and the Asia Cup. But I think the Asia Cup is more key than Zimbabwe, to be
I think the
honest.
Asia Cup will only determine about Chamika, but still, with how he's been performing, I know domestic has been performing and all, but really, do
I
you
totally understand your
consider?
skepticism, Pavan. I totally understand your skepticism, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Because
yeah,
you come across these guys, in all these sports, as a Man United fan, like I remember, like when you see guys
exactly.
like back in the day when Fergie used to rule, like you had guys like John O'Shea,
Yeah,
all these little Park Ji Sun, like these are not
yeah,
quote unquote world beaters, but they're just there doing their thing. And I feel like okay, cricket's a different sport, but
yeah.
I like Chamika. I like Chamika.
I know,
I'll
but
put it there.
both Chanaka and Chamika fitting the team, that is the biggest problem over there. Like, will both of
Yeah.
them?
Oh, listen, I'll tell you right now, the selectors are never doing that.
Yeah,
Sanath
yeah,
is never doing that, but I would do
yeah.
that.
Okay, okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. That's your
Oh,
opinion. Total respect. Yeah, could happen. Yeah, but hopefully they can be together. Let's see.
yeah,
But
I don't see it
yeah,
happening. I don't see it happening. I don't see it happening, Pawan.
not gonna happen though. Yeah, because anyways, I think Hasaranga will have to either go to number 4, either something will have to change or whatever for sure.
Yeah,
That in the team, and it's very unrealistic for that to happen. Also, for both of them to play together, it's either Shanaka, it's either Chamika in that playing 11. So you never know. And with how Shanaka's performed in the past, especially in Sri Lankan conditions, even in India, he's performed well. So you cannot really. And his bowling also has been much better than Chamika. To be honest, yes, even though Chamika might be the highest wicket take in the
no, no,
domestic,
no. But I know what you
I,
mean. But
yeah,
Shanaka's bowling has been
yeah,
quite impressive.
yeah,
I
yeah,
agree.
exactly. He will deliver when you really need to. Like, even though he might not have the stats and all that, still whenever you need him, he will perform. So, and especially he's
Yeah,
been doing that even in the deaths. I've seen that in the past. So that's why I would like to trust Shanaka over Chamika. I know Chamika has a brilliant attitude. He has a commitment. He has everything in him, but
yeah,
I don't know. Sometimes in the match situation, he just sometimes gets carried away. I feel as just
yeah.
under pressure. So he could be a brilliant player in domestic or all that, but in international, I still think like it's a bit inexperienced. Still, I think that he
Yeah.
needs more match situations, like more match situations. I think Shanaka already has that because he's played already 120 matches. He already has that experience. So you'd rather go for experienced player rather than a player like Chamika. But you're right also, both of them can play together, but
Oh
I
yeah, man.
don't
Listen,
I don't
it's a
see that
game of
happening.
opinions. It's a game of opinions, man. No issues.
Exactly, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. But all right, thank you so much, Manushka. I will let you go because
Thanks, man.
Man United
Thanks,
match is also happening in a few minutes or whatever. So yeah, I'll let you go. But thank you so much. We had technical difficulties, everything, but we somehow managed to sit around and talk for an hour and 15 minutes. That's great. So thank you so much once again for accepting the invite.
yeah. Thanks
Uh,
for having me, man.
yeah, no worries. And do subscribe to Sports Breakdown, like, comment, and share. And yeah, we'll be uploading more videos like this. And we will see you very soon with the Zimbabwe series updates and possibly the Ireland series as well. So let's see how it goes. Asia Cup coming up, Ireland series coming up, and then the LPL coming up. So a lot of things coming up with Sri Lanka cricket. So we will be updating on all that. So stay tuned, guys. Thank you so much and have a good night.